Welcome to Notable Approvals. I am attorney Amanda Shaffer. We have another good case to tell you about today. Before I do that, a couple quick reminders, announcements. First, our next episode of Are You Smarter Than a Naturalized Citizen will be on November 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're up to episode number 15. It's a lot of fun. You get to learn a little bit about the naturalization test, so I hope that everyone watching can tune in. Next, don't forget to like us, follow us Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, so you don't miss any of our lives or other announcements. And if you feel that this video was helpful or know someone who would find it helpful, please make sure to hit that share button and get this out there. So, to our case. Today's case is about a client who is a native and citizen of Burkina Faso. He actually applied for asylum. So he came to the US in September of 2015. He filed for asylum within a year of coming, so he is eligible, in April of 2016. And he kind of filed in that time period where they were so backed up with asylum applications that people in 2016 are still waiting. But before they had changed it and they started it, people who came in, they wanted to get you in the asylum office within 30 days of filing. So unfortunately, this client kind of got kicked to the back of the pile, and he's been waiting and waiting just for the asylum interview. And while that's all been going on, he obviously hasn't returned home or hasn't seen his family. His mother, who is actually living in Togo right now, because just a spoiler alert for what I'm about to say, if you apply for asylum, even if you're still waiting for your interview, even if you're eligible for a travel document, the one place you cannot go is to the place that you told the US government you cannot return to because you're going to be harmed. So in other words, if you're saying I'm from Burkina Faso, I want to go to Burkina Faso to see my mom, well, you're going to lose your shot at asylum there. So if you have to go visit someone, they have to meet you in another country. We have these questions a lot come up. They're like, well, I can go for a day. The US government says if you can go for a day, you can stay there. So do not go back to that country. Now, this client was not planning on doing that, so that wasn't a problem. So he came to us and told us that his mother was very sick and he wanted to go see her. He's not in removal proceedings, because if he was, again, that's another time that you can't do it. You can't go to any country, you can't leave the US if you're in removal proceedings or you're deporting yourself. So in October of 2020, we filed his advanced parole request. So it's the same application that you fill out if you're for anyone who is applying for advanced parole. There's different types. When you are an asylum applicant, you qualify for what they call an advanced parole document, not the refugee travel document. Refugee travel document is for people who've been granted asylum or refugee status and don't have green cards yet, but need to leave the US and return. The advanced parole document, in the category we actually checked the same category for adjustment of status applicants, and they don't have to show humanitarian purpose. But if you're an asylum applicant, you're not going to be given an advanced parole document unless you can prove a humanitarian factor. One of those humanitarian factors are a sick relative, but not just sick, somebody who's like terminally ill. Now, that is what we had in this case. So when we filed the advanced parole document, we filed back in October 2020. We said our client was intending to leave around February of 2015, and we included copy of his passport that's still valid, the asylum application receipt notice. He wrote a statement about why he needed to travel, and then we got a letter from the doctor who was caring for his mother, which said what the prognosis was, diagnosis, and treatment plan. And that was in French, so we had to translate it into English. We submitted the English and the French version, so we did everything we're supposed to do. All's great. And my client's waiting and waiting and waiting. And February 2021 comes and goes. And then we finally, in July of this year, we get a request for more evidence. And basically, the request said, your date of departure passed. Please prove to us that you still need to leave. And if you do, we need a new statement about when you plan to leave, how long you expect to go, and that the reason for leaving before when you filed, or initially when you filed, still exists. So we did just that. We applied early September with a new statement saying that my client wanted to leave around October 30th of this year, that his mother has not gotten better, that she's actually gotten sicker. And so yeah, need for travel, intended date, and the length of travel that he was only going to go a few weeks. Or no, it was 30 days, I'm sorry. And we put that in with a new doctor letter since it had been almost a year now since we sent the first one. We wanted them to show that her condition was still critical. So she actually had typhoid fever, which we don't see really, I don't think, over here that much. But she was going to have to go into surgery, so they were waiting for her condition to get better. That was on the letter, sent it out, and less than a month later, he was granted, earlier this month it was, and I believe, I don't know if he left yet or he's about to leave. I know he had a short turnaround to make plans once he got the advanced parole travel document, because when you're an asylum applicant, you don't necessarily get a blanket 1 year to use it like you would if you were an adjustment of status applicant. So again, what makes some of this confusing is that even though I check the same box as other clients applying for something different, it actually operates differently in what you have to prove to get it, or eligibility requirements, as well as what type of document. Like if you're applying for a green card and you get an advanced parole travel document, it's usually, I've never seen it not valid for 1 year. It actually comes now on your work permit because you file them together. And you're allowed multiple re-entries, whereas the asylum applicant, he's allowed to go see his mother and come back, and hopefully by then have his asylum interview. So people call us all the time because unfortunately this is a reality that a family member back home might get sick, and if you've overstayed your visa in the US, entered illegally, and removed, or things like that, you're not able to go back home. We've had many clients have family members die and not able to return to go to the funeral. And part of that is, if you were, I was pointing out some of the dates here that we've been dealing with this. So it's been like a year since we first filed this application for him. It shouldn't take as long as it did. It took like 10 months or so to get the request for evidence alone. But that's the unfortunate reality, that if he doesn't have it, he doesn't get back in. So he had to wait. So the bottom line is, if you have to travel and you need an advanced parole travel document, you want to get it filed as soon as possible. Make sure you're eligible. Contact an experienced immigration attorney first. And if you are eligible, do it as early as possible, because when we looked at October to February, that's 4 months, we're like, okay, it might be cut it close, but it should be relatively within that time period. And then because of COVID, and also times when there's no COVID, for whatever reason, all of a sudden the wait time skyrocketed, and we then had to reprove our need to travel. And sometimes clients end up getting denied. Like if a work reason is another reason that you might get advanced parole in certain categories. And if your conference in Switzerland or wherever is passed, now you don't have a reason unless you have a new reason. So bottom line is, do it as quickly as possible. So that is all today for notable approvals. Don't forget to like us and follow us on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Instagram. If you found this video helpful or know someone in a similar situation who may, please hit that share button so we can get the information out there and get help for those who need it. And that is all today. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.